Okay, be honest. How many games do you own that you never even installed or just played for like 20 minutes and never touched again? I'm talking about the gaming backlog. That ever-growing pile of games you'd swore you'd play. And I'm here to figure out why so many of us have one. How I ended up having more unplayed games than finished ones. And what actually worked for me to finally start making a dent in it without turning gaming into a second job. Okay, gaming backlogs. Why does almost every gamer have one, including me? I have bought so many games over the years that I never played or beat even when I really intended to do so. How come I spend so much money on something only for it to collect digital dust? I recently decided to beat my backlog because I had more unplayed games as I had beaten games. And I really wanted to change that because every time I was buying a new game it felt wasteful. I really wanted that game, but I have so many games just lying around, why wasn't I just playing them instead? I did find them interesting at some point, right? Well, for me I realized there was this one thing that made me buy more games and never played them. And what was that? This one terrible kind of fun game called League of Legends. I never got around to play my games I bought because I was stuck in this loop of just playing League during my free time. I did see games that looked amazing, but it was always just easier to hop on League and play something that I was used to. So over the years I kept buying new games that looked amazing and then instantly started playing League again. I guess that's something that happens for many others, going back to something familiar instead of trying something new. But okay, I found one issue that was making my backlog so much bigger. How do I solve that? Well, stop playing League, sure, but I do like that game sometimes, and I wanna keep playing with my girlfriend who loves that game. So instead of saving my mental health and stop playing completely, I started setting limits on how much time I could spend on League. That was working for me for a while, but one day I found this one champ, Jhin, and I fell back to only playing League again. But I did have really fun, and I hadn't had that much fun with gaming for a while now. And that's where I found a big issue with beating my backlog. Burnout. I was so focused on beating my games that I barely had fun while playing them. It became a chore, a checklist of something I need to do as fast as possible. I didn't explore or do any side content because I wanted to beat the game instead of actually playing. So after getting a bit tired of League again, I realized I had to set some new rules for myself. So when I started I had two rules for myself. Beat the games you start and don't buy any new games until I've beaten my backlog. But I had to change them up a bit. So the new rules for me was: play whatever game you feel like playing and stop if you aren't having fun. Don't buy any new games unless my backlog is under 10 games, so allowing me to have max 10 unplayed games at a time. I can either pause the game or put it in my shit list, meaning I can remove games from my list that I have started. Pause being something I might want to come back to, and shit being games that I just can't see myself ever trying again. This really helped me enjoy the games more because I didn't force myself to play something that wasn't fun. And if you're curious about the games I put in my shit list, here they are. Don't Starve Together, Getting Over It, Grease, The Longest Road on Earth, Mirror's Edge, Or in the Blind Forest, Pony Island, Untitled Goose Game. These are all games that I just didn't have fun with, and after playing them I can't see the appeal anymore. And the last rule is, give the games an honest try. Me giving an honest try is playing 1/3 of the game's total playtime. Or if the game is over 10 hours, I'll give it 3 hours of playtime. Some games start slower, and that is fine, but I feel like at that point the game has had enough time to captivate me. And if it didn't, I move on to something else. I'm not trying to play a Starfield type game where it takes 10 hours to get to the good part. But how is my backlog now that I've been at it for a while? I still have 21 games I haven't beaten, but when I started it was 43. Sure, to some that's not that many. I often see people commenting that they have hundreds of games in their backlog, but to me 43 games is a lot. I also did cave in and buy Outlast 2 on sale. I just finished Outlast 1 and my girlfriend brought me Outer Wilds because I have been talking about that for a while. I already beat Outlast 2 and I'm in the middle of beating Outer Wilds. While going through my backlog, I realized how many gems I've missed. Halo, a game I missed because I grew up on PlayStation. I had tried it at friends' houses, but my friends are morons, because they only showed me the multiplayer instead of the single player. I have now played Halo 1 to 4 on legendary difficulty, and Halo Combat Evolved and Halo 2 was amazing. Amnesia: The Dark Descent is a classic game that has such an amazing atmosphere. Soma, my all-time favorite horror game, and I have never played anything that stuck with me as Soma did. Dark Souls 3. Tried it multiple times over a couple of years, but it didn't stick with me until now in 2025. When I first beat it, I instantly replayed it, and it's now one of my favorite games ever.
Perhaps here, things will be different.
Grand Theft Auto 4 is a game that I've had since release, and I just beat it for the first time. Same thing with the GTA 5 that I also owned since release, but never beat until now. But I did enjoy the story in GTA 4 a lot more than GTA 5, and I had a great time with it. Resident Evil 7, among with the Evil Within, made me realize that having a weapon in a horror game doesn't make it any less scary. I would even argue that having a weapon and managing ammo makes it a lot scarier. All of these games had I missed, and it made me want to beat my backlog even more. What more have I missed? Will I find a new favorite game now that I actually played the games I buy? Starting your gaming backlog can be fun. For me it was really fun to sort the games and make a list of all unfinished games and their average hours to beat, beating the game and then seeing the hours go down. But making sure you have fun while beating the backlog is the most important part. Set up some rules on how you want to go about finishing your games. It isn't my priority and it shouldn't be yours either, it's not a race. Keep it relaxing and fun instead of a checklist of chores that you need to do. You don't need to finish your backlog, and I don't either. Just something fun I wanna do. And now that it is fun again, I'm going to keep playing until I get bored and wanna do something else. But if you're someone who wants to beat your backlog, let me share some tips. Every game won't be fun all the time. As earlier mentioned, it took years and multiple tries before finding Dark Souls 3 fun. And that wasn't the first time for me. It happened with Bioshock. I didn't find the game fun at all, but third time around, and I couldn't stop playing. I instantly played through Bioshock 2 and Bioshock Infinite after. Sort your games so you have an idea of what you wanna beat. If something isn't fun, don't keep it in the same list as your other games you wanna beat. If it becomes tedious or you just start feeling like it's a must and you need to beat your backlog, instead of this fun little thing, take a break and do something else instead. Don't keep adding games to the backlog. It might be hard to resist seeing the Steam Summer Sale sitting at 90% off on a game that looks really cool. Adding games to the list while playing through it will just make it a bottomless pit that you can never beat. If you want to keep adding games, I wouldn't look at your backlog as something that you can beat or something that you should finish. Just your collection of games. My backlog's not gone yet, but it's not haunting me anymore either. I've played through so many games now. Some were amazing and some were just boring. I found some new favorites, and most importantly, I'm playing through the games I was excited for in the first place. If you got a massive backlog, don't feel bad, you're not alone, and honestly, it's not a competition. This isn't a speedrun. Also, with so many games just existing and looks great, it's impossible to play through all of them. But when you buy a game, make sure to give it a fair try. Play what you want, when you want. Have fun. That's the whole point, right? If you're anything like me and you're tired of buying games just not to play them, maybe give your backlog a second chance. Who knows, your next favorite game might already be waiting. And if you got any hidden gems you finally played, drop them in the comments. Thanks for watching.